This week's MindEspresso is about the hidden forces that drive your behaviors, that drive your decision-making, and ultimately drive your life. And we're going to be looking at the intersection of values and needs through a model from the Barrett Values Center. And I really liked their model because it gave context to how people look at values and how people look at needs. What happens is our behaviors over here are driven by a value system, right? And a value system is simply how we prioritize. What are the behaviors that I prioritize that I think are important, and which ones do I value more than others? And those can be conscious or they can be unconscious, right? We can have a value system that we've just inherited for a long period of time, but it doesn't serve us. And so we've got to be very clear about what's driving us so we can make some choices about the values that we want to live. And then behind values are needs. Often what we're trying to do is fill needs, and we do that through placing priorities or importance around things that will fill our needs, and ultimately that leads to our behaviors and leads to our decisions and leads to our life. So what Barrett did is they took their values and they bucketed them along three different lines. The self or the fear bucket down here, which is self-esteem, relationships, and survival. And here we're trying to answer some basic need questions. Do I have enough? Will I be alone? Will I be loved? Am I enough? Am I enough for this world? And a lot of people function down here, and it leads to rather unhealthy behaviors, right? If you're constantly answering, do I have enough? You can be controlling, dominating, you can be overly cautious, not enjoying life, which you can see it comes up here, right? Then if you're worried about, am I loved, am I alone? This could lead to jealousy, blame, trying to protect the people that are around you and keep safe, right? So that no one can take the people who are next to you. So you're not abandoned. Then the third one is, am I enough? And here you're trying to really find out, do you have enough to be valued in the world? And this can lead to authority, power plays, status seeking. All of these, if you live down here, ultimately will actually drag you back down and keep you answering the same questions again and again. What I liked about Barrett's is they took this idea of self, and then they kind of created a next bucket of new self, or the transformative bucket. And as you're answering different questions, you go up the human needs ladder and your values are changing, right? And so if we get into the transformative bucket, then you have the growth level. And here, the question is, who can I be? Now you're moving above the sort of basic human needs, and you're trying to say, who can I be that's bigger than who I am right now? And this involves courage, adaptability, and development. And then one step above that, you get to meaning in this world. And what is life for, right? And a lot of people are living down here and they're missing this piece up here, which is ultimately what makes life fulfilling, right? And here you're answering the question, what is life for? And if you look at some of the behaviors here, fun, integrity, authenticity, creativity, and I'm going to call this the new self. When you're focused on growth and what life means and how you can experience life and experience life with others, that's your new self. So you're graduating really from the self-focus to a new self-focus, and we're transforming so that we can reach the highest level of needs, which are really the impact buckets, right? And here we're focused on contribution and answering a basic question, how do I make a difference? And then we see different values like empathy and mentoring and spirituality. And that starts to climb us to the highest level, which in the Barrett's value system is service. And the question I think they're trying to answer is, am I caring for others? Am I about more than myself? And here you start to see compassion and humility and purpose. You have to constantly look at values that span the spectrum, right? So that I am taking care of myself so that I can be a better self, so that I can impact the world. So when you look at these, you're looking for balance. You don't want to be all the way up here and not down here, but you can't live down here or you'll never get up here, right? And you'll never experience life and meaning and contribution and the things that ultimately make us feel good inside. So to sum up, we have behaviors over here, things that we're doing that are driven by our priorities, which people call values, right? Things, behaviors we think are important. And then those ultimately are trying to fill buckets and answering questions. Do I have enough? Am I loved? Am I enough? Who can I be? What's life for? How do I make a difference? And am I caring and contributing and serving ultimately in life. And that is this week's Mind Espresso.